Hello guys. So last week I showed you on how I evaluate some COVID-19 themed website. And one feature I showed is checking if the site is still up or not. As a cybersecurity professional, what if your boss tasked you to monitor if a malicious site is still down or up? So what you wanna do? So in this video, code with me as we do a simple program that would monitor the availability of a site. So let's get started. Let's just code a simple program here, and we are going to need a library called urllib. So in this library, as I've said way back, urllib is used to communicate with a website. This is the one that linked your program to a certain web page. So here, what we're gonna do is we made our input. Let's say input is link. Then we have this, check this site. So that would be our input. Then what we're gonna do is web page. We declare a variable web page to communicate to the link that is our input. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have urllib dot url open and a variable link. So we are going to open the website. Okay, so once we have that, we're gonna have a response variable wherein once we open the website, we are going to get the response code. So let this be webpage dot code. Okay, then I'm gonna go print something here just to have some, some design or just to separate the output from the input. And we have, let's say, print site. This is to check if our website is printed successfully. And we have here the condition. So our condition would be if response, which is our code, is 200 or 201 or 202, the response code for site for a accessible site, 204 or 205 or 206. Let's go for the basic right there. Then print site is accessible. This is just a continuation of this. After that, we have the else. Then we have elif response is 404 or 408. This is for a non-accessible site. The response code for a non-accessible site is not accessible. Okay, then elif response is 500, and this one is for the site that's having a database server error. So let's say has error on its server. Okay, then once we get to that, we go with the else here. This is just a checker if a URL is valid or not. So let's just say if the site does not respond to any of these conditions, then it will fall to this it will fall to else. Then we have print link, which is our site, plus a string which is invalid. So site is invalid, and print. Let's still check for the response code if we are, curious about it. With response code of print response. Okay. Once we have that, let's compile. So Python visit.py. Oh, there's an error right here. 206. Oh, I forgot to have a column. Should be vigilant on having that in Python. Sit-down.py, check the site. Let's check one of these sites right here. So this one. Yes. Oh, what happened? System cannot find the file specified. Oh, I see. Because URL format. So we all know that a certain domain or URL has a format of HTTP, www. Right, and a domain.com, right? So what we're gonna do here is just to have a variable string, add this right there, no spaces, because what we are going to add next is this link. So link now here. After having that input, we update the variable to link equals link ad plus link. Okay, so what's gonna do is it's gonna add a HTTP www in your input. Alright, so web page URL open. I think we're all set. Yada yada yada. Check the site. Alright, access. So let's check against coronavirus.com. Okay, once we get there, like that. Coronavirus.com. Accessible. It says that it's accessible. Then paste that. Check. Let's check this. It is accessible. Let's check another one. Let's say we have coronavirus.com, coronavirus.com. It's also accessible. Double check that one. Okay, it is accessible. You can see on that one. You can still optimize this code. What you're gonna do is to optimize this. You're gonna have to assign the response code that are accessible in a particular container. So let's say list accessible equals this one 200, 201, 202, 203, 204, 205, and 206. So let's get rid of this so we can optimize the code. List accessible if response is in list accessible. Then we have to print site is accessible. So as you can see, the output here printed is accessible as next line, right? So what you're gonna do to avoid that is to have this as just to have command Okay, so let's compile that. Next. Let's say simple nba.com. Yeah, saying that it's accessible and it only printed single line. Okay, so once we have that, one way of handling this efficiently is using the try and accept block, or we call this as exception handling in Python. So what we're gonna do is when an error occurs, an exception, as we call it, Python will normally stop and generate an error message. So what I'm talking about is we go have a try here, try statement, or a try, we call it a try block. Then after trying this, after executing this block of code here, if a statement, or if this part, or if this block failed exception, it will then go to this block, which is the exception. Exception block is it let you handle the error. Okay, we then follow up this code as exception as e. What this means is that it's going to generate the exception library here contain that will then be stored in variable e. So if error happens, we will see what error is it. So there is also the way of handling that if a certain site is not accessible. With this response code here, it will go to this block and print the error itself, or print the reason why is the website is not accessible. Okay, if we use other example here, let's say this coronab.com. So let's compile our program. Right, so we have that there. Check the site. Okay, everything's working. Let's see if this works. Oh, happened. Okay, let's compile again. So there you go, error site error. So that means the site is not accessible. To check on that, Corona B, yes, it's not accessible, as you can see there. You can still edit the printing here, like if all this fails, and if there's an error opening this site, you can only say that site is not accessible, or there's an error in that particular web server, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna print site is not accessible with an error of E. So that way we're gonna know what error triggers it. So we're going to compile this again. Corona B, site is not accessible with an error socket. Okay, emphasize this one. Alright, just to make more emphasis on their message. Okay, let's do it again. Corona B, there you go. Let's try a random site here, 204.com. See, it's not accessible. Let's do it, 204.com. right? It's not accessible. So there you have it. Your simple is it down program. And now you can monitor those malicious sites. I'd like to hear from you. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click the subscribe button and like the video as well. Hope you guys enjoy. Have a great day and peace.